Hey everyone, Key here. I started this painting with no idea what it was going to be at all, and I'm just blocking out some shapes, trying to find some interesting shapes to develop. I started doing these really bulbous forms, and I was thinking, hey, that could be interesting rock formations for a cave. So I darkened the top half, and here I'm adding in some light that looks like it would come from molten rock of some sort. And I thought, hey, this is kind of cool. So let's play this up and see if there's a good idea in here. So I'm trying to create some cheating with the perspective there a little, trying to make it feel big. And I'm starting to define the forms, and a lot of times when I just start defining forms, like I am in this case, I'm trying to find the idea. I'm trying to give my brain some clues so that it can develop on some ideas. But I actually did. I thought that wasn't working out, so I cropped part of it and I extended it. Here I was thinking another underground environment, but a little bit different shot. So here I thought it'd be interesting to put in a character. And as soon as I started to put this character in, I thought, wow, Key, this is so generic, especially because I knew this was gonna be a female character, and it's it's like those generic game ads or a lot of game ads, especially for MMO games. Um, you'll have some sort of sexy girl in some sort of fantasy environment, and there's no story to it at all. It's just eye candy to catch people's attention. So yeah, but I thought, hey, this will be what it'll be, and I just kept going with it. I knew that I would try to make it different somehow, like adds a little bit of my own flair into it. But for now, I'm just you can see earlier I was just trying to really nail down the gesture because you tend to lose the gesture as you render. So it's really important to get a good hold on the gesture in the beginning. Um, I'm putting in some environmental aspects here to just to set the scene, so the character will fit in it well. And you'll see throughout this painting whenever I start to do like little detail work, it's because I'm not sure about the design yet. And this happens a lot, and it's actually a good thing because it lets your brain rest a little while you're thinking, because design is so thought intensive that sometimes it's good to just go back and forth, um, trying to indicate light. And so the colors I'm choosing right now, they're just uh, they're picked pretty loosely. I know the general feeling I want for this place, so I'm picking pretty loosely to the best of my ability. And the thing about these paintings is that I myself don't know what they are, so I don't know what it'll feel like. And as the design starts to come about, I refine my color because because as the design comes about, I know what the painting is about, so I know what kind of feeling to give it. So these colors right now, I think of them sort of just as placeholders almost, just to help me develop an idea. It's like looking at clouds almost, and once I have a idea developed, then I start to refine it and design out the smaller things, design out the rhythms and the environment. So here I start to design the chest plate and the armor of the female character, and I haven't done a lot of characters, so this is a really big challenge for me. And you see me making lots of little changes that aren't really that important for this stage in the painting, but I'm doing it because I just need to be doing something while I'm painting. I need to be doing something, and I don't know what the design's like, so uh, just do something else, I guess. So, still messing. I mess with the head a lot. I haven't drawn a lot of faces. Really, something I need to work on. But I used to, when I did characters, I used to, because I was so bad at faces, I focus on the body a lot more. And the faces was one of the things I added on in later, and I found that to be a big mistake because even though uh, your head and your body may look fine separately. You may find that if you wait too long to flesh out your head, it'll fit onto the body really strangely. And there's a certain stiffness that's really, really hard to fix. So, yeah, so really trying to nail down the head and the body as a whole. Um, I took a break and I lost a little bit of recording there, but uh, not too much. So at this point, this is the character I wanted. I knew that this looked okay. It's not perfect. The perspective's not perfect. The a lot of technical things aren't perfect right now, but this had this pose and this character right now feels like it has the energy I want the character to have and the feeling. So I started developing on that, and I start to get something simple down for the head, so I can start working on the body. And you'll hear me say feeling a lot when I'm referring to painting, uh, and it's mostly because, well, I think it's mostly because I'm a self-taught artist, and I really have had no training um, from classes or anything like that. I had some art classes once, but they were really not helpful at all. I didn't feel like I learned anything. I did take a figure drawing class one time, and I think uh, that was probably the only helpful thing, I guess, class sort of thing that I ever had. But so I talk about feeling a lot because that's kind of the way I learned. Is just I just made a lot of mistakes, and eventually when I start to make the right the right mistakes, I guess you can call them happy accidents. I kind of latch on to that, and next time I try to replicate that again. So now a lot of times when I'm painting, I'm just thinking, how do I want this to feel? And I know it's not that helpful, but that's just kind of how I learned. And um, I really only learned the more technical stuff later on. So here I'm starting to design out the armor a little bit. I'm having a lot of trouble here because, like I said, I haven't designed much armor. I'm using some shapes that are pretty generic. At this point, a lot of things about this painting are pretty generic, but uh, I just thought, whatever, I'll just keep going. I'll figure something out. And so I keep going, and uh, designing this armor right now, my focus is to come up with some interesting shapes. At this point, I kind of already accepted that uh, this is gonna be a female character in fantasy environment, um, which is the generic thing. So I just kind of accepted that, and I thought, how can I make this? How can I add a little bit of my own flair to this, and make it not a complete just cop out of every other painting like this? So I'm really trying to come up with an interesting design. I also knew that I didn't want to give her. I didn't want to make her scantily clad. Um, just didn't seem like the most interesting thing. It's been done too many times. So still having a lot of trouble with the armor, going through a lot of different um, design choices and picking the ones I think look good. One thing that I see a lot, I see a lot of these sort of mistakes made is where someone's designing armor and certain parts of the armor don't seem to fit with others. Like I guess you could call it the design language of the armor is not consistent. So there's the armor is spiky, but another part of the armor is rounded. But you know that those rounded shapes aren't repeated anywhere else in the design, so it feels very apart from the design. It doesn't feel like it comes together very well. So here, I'm the armor's starting to look sleek. So I'm thinking, hey, it'd be cool if this armor looks sleek, but also kind of ancient. Uh, yeah, I guess just kind of ancient, but sleek at the same time, which is almost uh, contradictory, but um, I just thought, hey, I'll give it a try. So I'm starting to define the forms, and you can see, even though I haven't designed the whole armor set, again, I'm designing the form because I need a break from designing. I and starting to design the form also makes it read, and for me that kind of goes in my head, and I start to see the design better. If I see a certain part of the design better, it's much easier for me to flesh out the rest of the design. So so you can see me turning off that top character layer now and then to take a peek at that beginning sketch I had of the character, to make sure I'm maintaining that sort of energy, and I'm not losing the character, or I'm not losing the original gesture throughout the process of just rendering it. And that happens pretty often. And for me, whenever I'm doing a character, it's always a fight to try to keep that energy. I think I've heard that to be the case for a lot of other artists too. So I always save a layer of the sketch that I feel has the energy I want, and then I refer back to it to just to make sure that I'm not losing anything. I'm not losing a valuable part of the character. Um, so I'm still designing here. Pretty soon here I'm gonna find a shape that I like for that center chest piece. Um, and as soon as you can see, well, pretty soon here, when I start to figure it out, it starts to flow, and right after I figure it out, I know that the top chest plate is okay. It's gonna work, and I feel okay about it. It's pretty hard to mess it up at this point. So this is when the confidence starts to come in, at least for the chest piece. Um, uh, yep, still just designing. Oh, I guess I don't figure out the chest piece for a while yet. Um, oh, okay, so here I'm messing with the shoulder, and this is what I was talking about when I say inconsistent design language is a big a mistake I often see. Is this shoulder has a type of shape to it. I guess it's called design language, but a type of shape to it that the rest of the armor doesn't have. And that type of form is not repeated anywhere else in the armor. And this really is, uh, it just means you haven't figured out the design yet. And if you can't pick up on those things, then your design won't work. You I think one of the biggest parts of design is to make your designs work together. If you're designing for a world, or even just different parts of a suit of armor, it's super important that your designs work together. Um, yeah, and that's just something that just comes with time, and the design sense really is really just something that comes with time. Design is a really hard thing to learn. Oh, okay, so here's what I was talking about earlier, where I'm starting to figure out the chest piece, and I thought, hey, there's not a lot of armor I see that has this sort of protrusion in the middle of the chest like that. Let's develop on that. That seems like it could be pretty interesting. This is the end of part one of this painting, so I'll leave a link for part two, which should be up very soon in the description. Thanks for watching.